So in asking Brady's question below, I have a kind of an extension off this question. So if you guys want to address anybody in particular that you know that's visiting or that Ohio State's interested in, certainly we'll get to that. But also, I got to figure that the net gain of talent in this exchange, if you consider everybody that's entered the transfer portal in recent months from Ohio State versus the kind of player that they're going to attract and target and bring in, that the net gain from a talent standpoint is going to be in Ohio State's favor.
Yeah, I'll jump in and taking Joe Burrow out of the situation because there was no transfer portal at that point. But you're thinking they would just all of the guys you mentioned, go ahead and lump in Jamison Williams, but that still doesn't compare to the Justin Fields, the Jonah Jackson, the Trey Sermon that they have landed as transfers over the past few years. Like if this was a trade, it would be an uneven trade in Ohio State's favor, in my opinion.
So more specifically to Brady's question, is there anybody out there that's currently in the transfer portal that you think is a target for the Buckeyes?
I don't really monitor the portal outside of Ohio State, guys, so I couldn't tell you necessarily who's sitting out there in the portal. I mean, people are going to sit there and say tight end. Do they try to bring in somebody at tight end? Do they try and bring in some OL depth? Do you try and bring in a fourth scholarship quarterback? But at that point, you're looking at like a Gunnar Hoke type of situation or something along those lines. It's not. This isn't like basketball to where everybody is waiting to see what a Tanner Holden was doing or somebody like that. I mean, it's such a larger portal in terms of football, and it's a lot of names are thrown in there. And the thing too is that you're going to have situations where you're going to have the transfers of high power 5 to high power 5. You're not going to see a lot of situations of where Ohio State's going to be looking at that lower level guy that just suddenly blew up. That's going to be playing up. I mean, that happens more in terms of basketball. That's not really something that happens in football. I mean, occasionally you might see somebody come out of one of the North Dakota schools or something like that, just with their track records. But, I don't know if Tom and Tony have anything else, but I'm not monitoring any names. There's not an Eli Ricks.
Steve and Tony.
Steven.
I live in Pataskala. I don't live with the hoity-toity people out in Granville like your friend Tom does.
I've done too many shows with Tom and Tony. My brain is.
Oh, hey, Tom's a good dude.
Evan's on autopilot. This is going to be a running joke, I think.
Tom's a good dude. Just call me Tom.
The one name out there in the portal that has actually visited Ohio State is the USC kicker, Parker Lewis.
Yeah.
He can't lose.
He cannot lose, which is a reference that I don't know how many people actually get anymore nowadays with these young whippersnappers out there.
I don't get it. Parker Lewis, he cannot lose.
Weren't you watching Fox in the 80s?
Late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, I was watching the Bundys, Married with Children, definitely, and The Simpsons, and that's about as far as I went. So
you never watched Parker Lewis Can't Lose, the TV show?
No, don't remember that one. That one slipped by me.
Is that this kid's name, Parker Lewis?
Yes.
Okay, well, he can't lose.
He can't lose, but he did. He was a 2-year starter at USC as their kicker, and entered the portal in December. Visited for the spring game. So Ohio State is looking at him. Would they have 3 scholarship kickers on the roster? They've got room if they need it. So that's one guy to look for as they continue to show that they don't have a ton of faith, I think, in Jake Seibert.